the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. All together now, let's begin. Let the show begin.
A really warm welcome to those of you who are visiting, and hello to so many of the friends in the room. First of all, a big thank you to Siu Hun for presenting me this topic of innovating for the next generation. This subject really excites me, as I think it excites everybody in the room. It's open-ended, forward-looking, and allows me to share some interesting initiatives that the Singapore Tourism Board has embarked upon. I will explore three key areas. The first one is really innovations to enhance travel experience for the new generation. Second area, innovations in marketing to reach a new generation. And finally, innovations even within the Singapore government for future public servants. So first, innovations to enhance travel experience for the new generation. I think everybody in the room will agree that that is critical, especially for a destination like Singapore. Competition is stiff all around the world and getting stiffer every day. So, for Singapore to attract both new as well as returning travelers, we must create compelling reasons to visit, and leveraging technology is essential. Thus, I would like to share two examples of how Singapore Tourism Board is truly trying to bring that to life. The first example I will share is Singapore Tourism Board's partnership with Ma Feng Wo's AI Travel Concierge. So some of you in the room, or perhaps all of you in the room, will be familiar with Ma Feng Wo, which kind of started in China as a TripAdvisor and over the years has evolved into a full-fledged OTA. Earlier this year, we became the first overseas destination to partner with them to develop a Gen AI-powered trip planner named Xiao Ma. Xiao Ma's uniqueness is that it utilizes proprietary data from Ma Feng Wo's extensive travel reviews accumulated since their founding in 2010, alongside publicly available information from platforms like Weibo and Baidu, as well as Singapore Tourism Board's proprietary information, including our WeChat mini program. I know for all the tech players in the room, you're thinking, okay, but does it actually work? So let me share a little story of how I saw firsthand that it does work. In June this year, I was up in Beijing together with Ma Feng Wo's CEO, Chen Gang, sharing this new beta launch, only a beta launch, to dozens of media in the room. Chen Gang, being a tech guy, was demonstrating how Xiao Ma was going to work, and I think he could sense that he needed to make things a little bit more exciting in the room. So unscripted, I had no idea that this was going to happen. He asked everyone, okay, why don't we make it interesting? Ask me difficult questions that you want Xiao Ma to answer. I must confess, as a Singapore public servant, I tensed up a little bit, wondering what the questions might be. And especially when the question that he picked, the question that was asked was, what do you think are the pitfalls that you need to look out for when booking hotel rooms in Singapore? Or for those of us who speak Mandarin, he asked, 在寻找酒店的时候呢，在新加坡的酒店需要注意什么坑? And I think whether in English or in Mandarin, you would agree that this isn't a typical question that one would expect an AI travel concierge to be able to answer. So I held my breath, and thankfully, with the live demo, Xiao Ma was able to answer it quite well. And in particular, highlighting as the first potential pitfall as rooms in Singapore being sometimes smaller than those in China. And of course, for those of us who know Chinese travelers, that's an important consideration. So for me, at least, that was one live demonstration of how the years of proprietary data does allow Xiao Ma to be able to answer some difficult questions. Xiao Ma will be publicly available for Singapore by the end of this year, and there are plans to enhance its geolocation features for real-time event suggestions, something that I think Singapore Tourism Board has been trying to crack for a long time. So once launched, this would be, I think, a good example of how we are really trying to constantly find ways to enhance traveler experiences in Singapore. My second example of how Singapore Tourism Board is really trying to use tech to enhance travel experiences is our AR partnership with Google Maps. Just last month, Singapore Tourism Board and Google launched 30 location-based AR experiences throughout Singapore, one of only 2 cities globally that Google selected for this pilot program. In this rollout, we partnered 14 tourism businesses in Singapore across 30 points of interest in key tourism areas. How did we do it? First, we worked with the tourism partners to create AR experiences using Geospatial Creator for Adobe Aero, a development platform that allows creators to easily and remotely anchor 3D content onto real-world structures. These AR experiences were then integrated onto Google Maps so that they are easily discoverable by tourists as they are navigating in destination. Importantly, they do not need to download an app or to even scan a QR code. You just need to open Google Maps as you usually do when navigating in a destination and click on the AR experience. Rather than try to explain too much more in words, let me show you a brief video demonstrating what you could see in Singapore. Thank you. The second area that I wanted to share about is really innovation in marketing to reach a new generation. Again, I think everyone in the audience will agree that to effectively engage our target audience, we need marketing strategies that cut through the noise. Maybe a little different from much of what is discussed during Web and Travel, my first example is completely non-tech. It's just about the core of marketing, about how an innovative marketing idea, without a huge budget, can drive great results. This was Singapore Tourism Board's partnership with Love Bonito. For those of you who may not be aware, Love Bonito is a local women's wear brand founded by Singaporean Rachel Lim, who aims to create perfect fits for the modern Asian woman. In 2023, they opened their first store outside Asia in New York City, and nicely, that coincided with Singapore's annual Wellness Festival. We thus saw an opportunity to invite 7 American influencers on a no-baggage trip. Literally, they left all physical baggage behind, and figuratively, we hoped as part of the Wellness Festival, they left all emotional baggage behind as well. So they flew without any baggage all the way from New York to Singapore, and Love Bonito, as well as other Singaporean and Asian brands, collaborated to provide everything they needed for an ultimate girls' trip. This simple, but I think innovative marketing idea successfully engaged our target audience. Just to share a sample of the results, on YouTube, 4.6 million reach with 6.5% engagement rate, and on Instagram and TikTok, 8.3 million reach with a 10.5% engagement rate. My second example in the space of innovation and marketing is our partnership with another Chinese company. This is Visio-Trip, or Shilü, for those of you who are familiar with them in China. It's a relatively new OTA that was set up with Gen AI at its core. And again, Singapore Tourism Board was proud to be Visio-Trip's first overseas partner. What does it aim to do? It's a crowded space. VisioTrip aims to disrupt how Chinese consumers dream, search, and purchase travel today. Instead of using many different apps, as Chinese consumers do now, they aim to be that one app so that they command the attention of the Chinese consumer. But how would they achieve this? Firstly, they aim to provide seamless itineraries with pricing included, generated just through questions posed by users. This is enabled by its own LLM model that was partially trained on Singapore Tourism Board content. Secondly, even pre-trip, VisioTrip uses AI to generate videos about the destination so that the user can visualize what his trip might be like. Again, Singapore Tourism Board came in to provide our marketing content as a base. And thirdly, after arriving at the destination, users can recommend their experiences and generate vlogs with one click and share with friends easily. One of the key reasons why Singapore Tourism Board decided to partner a relatively new player, VisioTrip, in this was because we were also very curious about whether there would be traction from consumers using AI-generated marketing content. Well, before I go into the results, let's take a look at some of the AI-generated marketing content.
乘坐空中列车，驶过瀑布和原始森林，我却仿佛抵达未来。如果这是人类最后一艘宇宙飞船，希望它带着我最美的梦，在时光中一直旅行。花瓣悄然盛开，将至的晚霞，给万物勾勒出梦幻的五彩轮廓。要如何才能将这份美丽的感觉从时间中留下？顺着空间去寻找，现代建筑和热带雨林编织在一起，那是我们前往未来的灵感。不同传统在这里交融绽放，眼前的每道风景都是历史最体面的亮相。不论何时，对身心无悔的宠爱，就能给时间完美的答案。如果让你来选，你会像新加坡一样，将心中极致的美付诸实现吗？
My apologies, I should have mentioned that most of the video is in Mandarin, but I think you get the gist. Really about how using AI, actually the marketing video was engaging at least to our consumers. We generated over 100 million impressions in just 6 months, and with the AI function, we actually generated over 7,000, together with our partner, generated over 7,000 videos to be able to gauge which were the ones that were most engaging or which were less engaging. Finally, the third area I just wanted to very briefly touch on is innovations within the Singapore government for the next generation of public servants. Perhaps some of you would know, as public servants deal with restricted information, it's not so easy for us to use publicly available tools like ChatGPT or Perplexity for our day-to-day work. So this is where GovTech, the Government Technology Agency of Singapore, has come in. And so I just wanted to share that GovTech actually has been really pushing hard on these different internal tools. Just to share a few, we have 2 tools related that are very close to ChatGPT. One is called Launchpad, one is called Pair. This streamlines daily tasks such as meeting notes and data presentation, etc. And another very recent innovation, GovTech is constantly pushing out new innovations for us internally, is the AI bot platform that allows public servants to create custom chatbots using our own internal knowledge bases. Even non-tech colleagues that I know of have found it extremely beneficial for developing presentation material, as well as distilling insights from surveys. Now, why am I sharing that? I'm sharing that because I think for all of us in the room, whether public servant or private sector, we're constantly looking for ways to achieve greater work-life balance. achieve greater efficiency. And so I wanted to share that even within government, even within the Singapore Tourism Board, we're doing it internally as well. In conclusion, I hope that I've been able to convey that innovation is really at the center of what Singapore Tourism Board has been doing. And if you take away nothing else from my short spiel today, just know that Singapore Tourism Board is ready to partner like-minded, innovative players and experiment with you in Singapore together with the government behind you. Thank you very much.
They're ready now. Let the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. Take center stage now. Let's begin. Let the show